Marci. My mission is to bring entrepreneurs and nonprofits a voice. And I'm very excited to have Ed DiTroia on today. And we're going to hear his voice today about real estate and the market. He is the #1 realtor in Bergen County and the state of New Jersey for REMAX. That's pretty impressive. Welcome.
Thank you, Marci. Thank you for having me on the show.
So awesome to have you on.
Thank you. It's always great to have someone like you put this out there so people could get a different perspective of what goes on in our industry.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm glad to do it. And I want to talk about some of the accolades here. It's very impressive. And some facts. So there are approximately 45,000 realtors in New Jersey, and you let me know if I'm saying this right. In NJMLS, approximately 9,000 realtors in Bergen County, and you're #1.
That's correct.
Yes, and REMAX is the #1 company in North America. REMAX has approximately 61,730 agents, and you are top #1 nationwide.
That's correct.
That is incredible. And you've been, for the past 30 years, #1 in Bergen County.
Well, yes, it's been a build-up over the years. I've been doing this my 33rd year right now. And a lot of it has to do with your client base and how people see you in the industry and see your name and get the job done in selling the houses.
Right.
And over the years, I started out in new construction, taking care of job sites, property management, and then I had gone into my own ownership of a REMAX agency in Woodcliff Lake, which I held for about 25 years. And through that time, you build a relationship with many attorneys.
I'm sure.
Many people, your client base just grows and they start referring you. It's a word of mouth type of business.
Yeah.
But you have to get the job done and people have to be happy with you.
Right, right. Which I'm going to ask you a little more about that later.
Sure.
But what I want to know, well, this you kind of already told me, but what makes you different from other realtors? Like, why choose you?
Good, that's a good question. And believe me, people do ask me that when they're interviewing. And bear in mind, there's plenty of good companies and many good agents out there. We work hard and we work together to get the job done.
Yeah.
However, you know, when you carry a certain load of listings throughout Bergen County in all price ranges, you will have a buyer pool that is exceptional because it comes to you from, I could have a house listed in Old Japan and that house does not work, you sell in one of your homes in another town.
Right. So
if you have inventory, you are going to get fed the buyers, and that's important. But it's also important to have the knowledge in the field to be able to match the buyers with the houses you're selling.
Of course, right? Because you don't want to take them to, they're going to tell you what they're interested in, and you don't want to take them to something that's completely opposite.
Right.
And one of the things, like, you did say this, but I want to make sure that people understand what the buyer pool is.
Well, the buyer pool is what we tap into as a broker where you list a property in the New Jersey MLS. It goes on many websites, and you have the property so the buyers will see that if they're looking in that area, and they will call you. And once you have that conversation with the buyer, you really need to hear what they need, what they want, and you try to match them with the properties that they're looking for, if they're qualified buyers. And I say that to you because management in our business is real important. You could spin your wheels with non-buyers and run them around and waste your time, and you'll never sell a house that way. But to answer some of why I sell so many houses is because I'm very focused on listening to what my clients' needs are.
Yes.
And being able to get them the house that they want, and in the right price range. This is our friendly dog.
We have a visitor here.
Visitor, Lucky.
My pet Lucky there. So sorry about that.
But the buyer pool is important because I built that up over years. It's a referral-based business, and when people are happy with you, they will refer you to their friends and family.
Right.
And
absolutely.
because I've had so many years behind me and so many deals, my buyer pool is a lot larger than most others.
All right, well that's good
and
to
it keeps
hear.
growing, and that's what keeps you going.
Yeah. And as far as knowledge of the market, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, again, it all stems back to being involved for so many years and having so many deals under your belt.
Mm-hmm.
You only could get that knowledge from experience,
right.
and doing this on a daily basis at the level I do, and trying to bring the listing from the beginning to the closing, dealing with all the aspects of home inspectors and the attorneys. There's a lot of things that have changed over the years in our business today to make houses go to bring people to closing.
Right. So do you put any and all homes on the market? Like, do you cover any type of home, any area? Tell us about it.
I do it all.
You do it all.
I do it, whether it's a bungalow or a mansion. We give the same service, the same attentive service, I should say, to all price range homes. And we do the same. We do the same marketing no matter what the price range is.
Right. Except
you will have a little bit more on the upper end because it costs more for us to promote those type of homes.
Right. And can you tell us a little bit about the marketing? What exactly that entails?
When I have a team of professionals that work with me. I direct myself with my buyers and sellers. They deal only with me when they hire me to sell their home. And with that, I have professional photographers.
Yeah.
I have printers. I have stagers. We have people that will come in and clean your house, and we do recommendations to try to maximize the dollars because it's your biggest asset, and we want to get top dollar for each home.
Of course.
That we can.
Of course. And that's one thing that I want to mention to everyone about this, the team of people that you have to offer them, you know, from a lawyer to someone cleaning their
home inspectors.
And the staging and the inspecting. And you have a team that you can provide for your buyer, seller, whatever it is,
Absolutely.
Right?
And I only work with people, you create a relationship over the years.
Right.
If my clients are happy, I'm happy.
Right.
And
of course.
That's the people I use. They're honorable and they do a good job, and they know how, we all know how we operate together, so it's a smooth transition.
Right. And I think that's being that this is one of the biggest things someone could take on, you know, selling a home, right? You need someone, yes, your biggest asset. You need someone to help you through the process.
Absolutely.
Right.
Many people they have no concept of what it takes to bring contracts in, to deal with the realtors, the showings, the feedback. When a realtor, for me to create competition for my sellers among the buyers so we get top dollar for the house.
Right, of course.
And being able to then take that contract and bring it to closing and being involved from the beginning to the end, because if you let it sit, something will go wrong in today's time, and the deals fall apart.
Wow.
Now, there are deals fall apart sometimes out of our control, nothing we can do, but we have a very high percentage of, once we lock in a contract, we bring it to closing.
Right. So can you take us through kind of like from inception to closing the deal?
Sure. When a seller shakes my hand and says we chose to go with you to list the house, we have all the necessary documents in place to be signed, seller's disclosures, lead paint, many disclosure forms required by our Board of Realtors and Commission of New Jersey Commission. And we then proceed with photography being done. Very important today because everything is internet based, and we want to syndicate the listing to maximize exposure to so many sites, which the MLS does.
Right.
And we now do sign installations. We send out color. I do send out color postcards that have listed your property.
Yeah.
We have broker open houses with serving lunch at times for them to come in to see your inventory, and we move along with the showings by appointment. And feedback is important to see for the sellers. They always want to know what people thought about their house.
Of course.
And staying in communication with your sellers, because the reality in the business, if you have a nice home in our towns up here, it should sell. And if it's not selling when there's people showing it, we have to pinpoint what that is.
Right.
And most of the time, it's a price issue.
A price issue.
That's most of it. I mean, there are things that houses, obsolescence in homes, we call it, that we cannot change. But you have to make the adjustment in price if that's there. And that's important.
And how is the pricing right now? How is the market?
Well, I'll tell you what, the market in the $1 million plus range has been soft in many of the towns. And under $1 million seems to be a good price range. There's more buyers in that range. They're not looking to take on the real big taxes and the large home, but we're still selling them, just not as many as years ago.
Right.
Years ago, we would sell the $800 million home and sell people $2 million, $3 million homes. These people are trying to sell now to downsize, and they can't get out for the money they paid.
Right,
in some cases, of course, in some
Yeah,
cases,
yeah.
from the height of the market.
Yeah, of course, because I know that.
But the market is also, it's seasonal too. We are busy right now. We took off as March, April, very busy, as it is almost every year, till the end of June. Once July 4th weekend hits to Labor Day, it kind of flows. You still do some business, but it slows down, and then it picks up again after Labor Day till the holidays. Now, of course, we sell all year long, but our bulk of buyers and sellers come out in the spring.
In the spring.
And the
so
spring
that's
is February.
That's the best time to put
time.
your house up for the on the market? Okay, well, that's good to know.
And it's just giving you, from my years of experience, I do most of my sales during these periods of the season, the peak season.
The peak season.
Right.
Excuse me. So, I know that you are very busy.
Yes.
And so if someone chooses you as their realtor, they may have some concern that you have, because you have a team of people. Are you going to be available?
Yes, and that I'm glad you touched on that, because I have a team that does a lot of the background work for me. When I deal with a buyer or seller, they deal only with me, directly with me. I'm the person on top of it. I return calls within a half hour of your calls.
Wow, that's great.
Unfortunately, it's 7 days a week.
Yeah.
You get a reputation.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit on the quick side with things because I know my business, and I try to cut to the chase and focus on what's important that needs to be done to make the deal. So I am the one on top of, when you hire me, you deal directly with me. You do not speak to any of my associates, meaning assistants, because they're working for me doing other things while I'm here taking care of you.
Right. And that's important, because people want to know that they're going to get their phone call returned, that they're talking to you, that they can trust you, that you're available to them. That's all very important.
And I give prospective sellers, my past clients, I welcome them always to, as referrals. Call them. They'll tell you they can't believe how quickly I respond. I'm always there for them.
Yeah, that's awesome to know.
Even with the amount of business I do, and it's management of your time. And like I say, you need help to take care of some of the incidentals. So you can't do it all by yourself.
And are you really honest with everyone as far as sometimes?
No, I'm a crook.
No, I mean honest, and you said pricing is so important.
I give you the best of what I call my professional opinion, to the best of my knowledge.
Right.
We're usually right on. Can you make a mistake sometimes? Absolutely. A house sometimes could be worth what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
We use our comparables in a town to try to use apples with apples as best we can.
Right.
And we're pretty good at past sales to let you know where your house should be sold for.
Okay, yeah. So you were telling us, you've been in the business for 30 years.
Right, over 30
years.
Yeah.
That's a lucky number for me. I like 33.
You like 33?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I hope it is for me too.
So tell me, what have you been doing over those 30 years?
It went so fast.
Yeah.
I look back when I started in the industry of real estate, there was only the mom-pop offices around, which I worked for one. And the MLS used to deliver a newspaper in the morning in a rubber band in front of your door, and we'd open it up and we'd say, "Oh, this is what came on the market today."
Wow.
There wasn't even computers.
Yeah.
And a lot of the new agents today, there's so much technology which has enhanced us in many ways, which is great. But they never will understand what we used to go through. We used to paste little index cards with the town so we know what's for sale.
Yeah.
And it was a whole different way of doing business. Of course, interest rates used to be real high, 12, 14, 16% when I started.
Yeah.
Prices were, $400,000 was like a high, $5 a high number.
Absolutely.
So
I wish it still was.
It has evolved, and I've watched it. I've been in it to see every change. All for the better. It took me time to you make my own changes so you stay up with everything. But I could go back and remember what it was like.
Yeah.
In the days when we started
it's
this
amazing.
business. It's a whole different world.
And you had mentioned in the very beginning of the interview that you had your own real estate franchise?
I own the Woodcliff Lake REMAX from 1993 to just 2 years ago.
Wow.
And
I can imagine that must have been a very busy, time of your life and busy market and busy office and
it was, and the reason I had always good team behind me, people who that understand me and know how I operate.
Right.
So I was still able to concentrate on my business, and while the other people took care of the background work and ran the office basically.
Right.
I signed the checks, but they took care of it all.
Well, it's good because you need a good team that takes that off your shoulders so you can focus at the task at hand, and that's getting the house sold or finding a home for somebody.
Yes, that's what the homeowners want. Homeowners want to know from me, what am I going to do for them?
Yeah.
Am I going to be there for them? Are you going to help with understanding, explaining everything? And in my business, the only way to get all these answers is really through my years of doing many deals and getting my bumps and bruises through the years to learn how to be able to express to the seller everything that needs to be done to make that transition as smooth as possible.
Right.
Because it's very stressful for homeowners when they're selling a house, especially packing up and selling.
It is. It's very stressful. I mean, it's the unknown. And sometimes when your house sits, that's scary.
Listen, it happens. It happens. It's markets change, and they change seasonally. I mean, we could be really busy doing deals now and prices start creeping up, and then it takes a slowdown, and now the next person lowers it a little and starts the other way in some cases. And so you have to stay on top of the market, and that's the only way. In all the marketing we do, 98% to me is pricing. If your price is not correctly positioned on the shelf, you could have the most beautiful photography and brochures and all the things that people focus on, which mean nothing in the sense of selling the house. It will not sell. Right.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, I see quite a few homes that'll go on the market and then they take it off, and because sometimes it can be very. Why does that happen?
Well, it depends on everybody's individual. If you're relocating, you need to sell. You're going to stay on the market until it sells. But if some people are thinking of selling, and maybe if they get a certain price, I'll sell, and that doesn't happen, then they stay. And people ask me, Ed, do you think if I wait a few years, the market? I wish I had that crystal ball.
Of course, but you can't know what's going to be upcoming, interest rates, all of that.
Look what happened to us in 2005, 2006. People selling the homes today that bought back then, they lose quite a bit of money.
Quite a bit of money.
It's hardship. It is.
Yeah, I know. That's when we bought our last house.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
So you were also talking about new construction and property management. I mean, my gosh, you've done everything when it comes to this world, this genre.
And part of having the knowledge is, again, going back to the experience. Back in the early 80s, mid 80s, I should say, I started working with builders and running specific job sites with new construction. These builders had kept many properties, which after the job was built, I ended up taking over management, which I still take care of today. It's over 20 years of managing properties. And with that, you get your team of when something breaks, I have my general contractors, my electricians, my plumbers, and I apply those people still today to the individual homeowner also.
I think that's amazing, though, that you have this incredible team that you can offer someone, because when you go in, you don't even realize how many people are involved helping to get your home sold. Right? And you need to have the trust in these people, and you provide that.
I do, and as I said earlier, any of my people, I call them, that I recommend have been with me for the long run, and my clients have done nothing but express how good they were, and that makes me happy because they're happy. And they will tell their friends. And again, this whole business grows from word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
That's how, other agents ask me, how do you do the amount of business you do? And it is myself in a way, because I'm hands-on at all, except for the few little things like the photography, the brochures, and things like that. And internet. I have an assistant now because we're state-of-the-art. Marketing with the photography gets all downloaded on Facebooks, on Zillows, on Trulia.
I know it's so important that you do the social media side of things.
But
which is why we're here.
It's important to get back to the people.
Right.
When a client calls, whatever their needs are, you have to, whether you can help them or not, you have to try.
Right.
You can't blow people off just like that.
Absolutely. Well, that's nice to hear.
Well, burns me out, but that's about it.
Well, I tell you, we've had a lot of people join. Thank you guys so much for joining. And if you have any questions, we're about to wrap up, but would love to, your lovely wife is there.
My lovely wife, hi honey.
Hi Gladys. I just want to recap again that you are the #1 realtor in Bergen County and the state of New Jersey for REMAX.
That is correct.
Yes, so very impressive, and I just want to thank you so much for being on Coffee with Marci.
I loved it, Marci.
Yeah, it was awesome. You shared so much valuable information with us.
Well, I hope other people see what you can do for them and get the word out there, because it's hard today to have people understand what you really do and what you're about.
Absolutely, and I mean the knowledge, the trust, the experience. The years that you have. I mean, you really have it all.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining Coffee with Marci, and we'll see you soon. Bye.